Hello and welcome in to another week's episode of Allen Athletics here on Watch Fox 57. I'm Kay Crenshaw. So happy to have you along on this week, and it is a jam-packed episode for you. We're diving into Yellow Jacket football with head coach Cedric Pearl. They're coming off a tough rivalry game loss to Benedict College this past weekend, 34-27 in overtime, but Coach Pearl says it's a brand new week and a brand new opportunity as the Yellow Jackets visit Kentucky State on the road. Then we'll sit down with head men's basketball coach Sean Walker as we go from the gridiron over to the hardwood. His team's coming off their first exhibition game of the season, and we'll catch up with Coach on how that went and how they want to improve ahead of the regular season. And finally, we'll head over from the hardwood to the wrestling mat. The wrestling season has arrived for our men's and women's wrestling teams. Head coach Eric Pack is going to join us to preview the team's inter-squad coming up this Sunday, October the 27th at 4 p.m. here inside John Hurst Adams Gymnasium. It's a completely free event for the community, so come on out and you can catch a sneak peek of all of the faces on the men's and women's wrestling teams for the year. All that more coming up here on Allen Athletics.
Right here, there's a better way to travel, where we're proud to be local, but we're more than just your local airport. Here, you can go from garage to gate in minutes, instead of traveling to travel.
Who wants to drive an hour up 77 anyway?
With quick find parking and multi-airline kiosks, we're designed to save you time. So for your next trip, check CAE first. The Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Fly local, fly with neighbors, fly with ease.
At Founders Federal Credit Union, we know success is a team effort. We're always cheering for you, side by side, so you can dream big and achieve your goals. Offering products and services that put you in the lead, whether that's helping you buy a car, build your savings, or supporting your community. We're here with the financial support you need. That's teamwork. Score big with Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders.
I think my images truly portray dynamic women, like being bold, being fearless. Growing up, I did not see what I wanted to be. There was just a lack of Black women, business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. That's how I just started taking pictures. And from there, I figured out that I wanted to be a photographer for women of color. It takes a village to be a Black woman, to live and survive as a Black woman. It takes support. I found my niche and I'm sticking to it.
Each year, the South Carolina Education Lottery raises millions of dollars for scholarships and grants that help students prepare for their dream career, just like Kristen.
We're talking Yellow Jacket football with head coach Cedric Pearl here on Allen Athletics. Coach, a tough rivalry loss this past weekend, an overtime loss to Benedict, 34-27. When you look back at that game, it was a back-and-forth battle. What were some of your takeaways?
Well, just like you said, I thought it was a great ball game. Obviously, it didn't come out in our favor, but I take my hat off to Benedict and their players and coaches. They were able to finish the game and make that one more play, that elusive play that's been getting away from us. So, the penalties, those are the things that we got to continue. We are getting better at those, but the one or two reared their ugly head when they didn't have to. The third down, the pass interference call, which kept the drive alive, which allowed them to go down and tie the ball game up in the fourth quarter. That was one that was really tough. Well,
Coach, on that final play, your team had a chance to tie it and force a second overtime. Touchdown pass, what would have been a touchdown, was caught by Caleb Cummings, but his feet came down out of bounds. How tough is that to tell your team that you were just that close, but to keep your sights, it's a brand new week?
Well, I told them I was proud of them because, the guys fight. One thing about it, if you come watch this play, you're going to see the Yellow Jackets fight for 60 minutes. So that's the one thing that I'm real pleased about. And that's what I had to tell them. I just really told them I was proud of their effort and the way they played and the way they stuck together and, tried to win the football game.
Health-wise, how did your team come out of that one?
We came out okay. Of course, we still have some injuries. I think we'll get Keyshawn Mashburn this week. Darius Williams from the ball game is still kind of gimpy with an ankle. Jayshon Benjamin is still out. You know, we're missing a few guys. Caleb Cummins may be out this week. So we have a few guys. It's football. It's football, man. That's a part of it.
Well, Coach, a player who has continued to impress me on a week-to-week basis, the more I've watched him play, the more not only impact has he shown, but the more he's impressed me, is Anthony Wadler down on that defensive tackle position. He had 2 tackles for a loss and a forced fumble against Benedict. What has he done to go from a player who was not a starter at the beginning of the season to now being one of those you count on the front 4?
Just working, continuing to work, not losing sight, not losing focus of just because I'm not a starter don't mean I don't have to, use practice to get better every day. So when my opportunity comes, I take advantage of that, and that's what Anthony has been doing. He's been a playmaker for us pretty much most of the season. He fought through some injuries too, but he's been doing a really good job down inside.
Well, another player who had a great game against Benedict was your kicker, Sam Herman. He knocks 2, one from 37, one from 39 yards out. Also made all of his extra points. How critical is it to have a weapon in special teams?
Oh, he's great, man. Sam, I told him he was my #1 recruit. You see all those guys out there, Jameer and Butch and all those guys, but Sam, we really needed a kicker after last season. And Sam has been doing a good job all year. So we're really proud of the way he's progressing.
What does he do in practice to improve his game? Obviously, like we said, here the practice field only 60 yards long. So
right.
What does he do to improve on a week-to-week basis?
Well, our first period starts with him. So once we finish stretching, we go immediately to field goals and PAT. So we start out with him, and we work special teams, part of it every day. We practice at least 3 of them every day. So the repetition, the reps, and that's what he's getting and paying off.
Well, Coach, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll preview the Yellow Jackets' upcoming road matchup to Kentucky State. We'll be right back.
At Allen, discover the things you've been searching for. Achievements, authenticity, an experience that helps to uncover the real you. It's your turn to be discovered, to be polished, to shine. Allen University, where hidden gems are revealed.
Right here, there's a better way to travel, where we're proud to be local, but we're more than just your local airport. Here, you can go from garage to gate in minutes, instead of traveling to travel.
Who wants to drive an hour up 77 anyway?
With quick find parking and multi-airline kiosks, we're designed to save you time. So for your next trip, check CAE first. The Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Fly local, fly with neighbors, fly with ease.
At Founders Federal Credit Union, we know success is a team effort. We're always cheering for you, side by side, so you can dream big and achieve your goals. Offering products and services that put you in the lead, whether that's helping you buy a car, build your savings, or supporting your community. We're here with the financial support you need. That's teamwork. Score big with Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders.
Back here with Coach Pearl as we look ahead to this coming Saturday's road trip to Kentucky State. Coach, longest road trip of the year for your group up to Frankfort, Kentucky. First off, when are you guys heading out and how long is that ride?
Well, we talked to the bus company and they're talking about around 11 hours due to the hurricane and the normal route that we would take, I guess, to Spartanburg in North Carolina, we can't take because of so much damage. So we have to go another route, which adds another 2.5 hours to the trip. So it'll be fun.
For 11 hours, how do you pass that on the bus?
Thursday night or Friday morning, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to be asleep. So we plan to get out of here about 1 o'clock Friday morning. So that'll probably put us in Lexington around that same time, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Lexington.
Well, Coach, you take on a Kentucky State team on the road that I think you'll agree to this, is probably better than their record indicates. They have not had the success they may have won this season with just one win, but of course Felton Huggins Jr., we know the system he's going to run. He's going to try to pass the football in the air raid. What do you see from the Thoroughbreds on the field?
Exactly what we see from the air raid. Roscoe Parrish, and I know the other kids, number 1 and number 9 and number 11. I know Parrish is number 11. He leads them in quite a few categories, but those are their playmakers, and those are the receivers, and they try to get them the ball just about every other snap with one of them, and we gotta guard those guys and make sure we keep them in front and rally up and make the tackle, and if we can get the ball out, once we get there.
Well, as much as the air raid is their identity on offense, I know knowing Coach Huggins, he's going to have some playmakers up front as well, down in those trenches. What are you expecting from them defensively?
Defensively, they're an even front team, but they will get in some 3-4. They like the corners love to take chances and jump down on the receivers and attack the football when they see it. So we got to be smart with that when we throw in the football and take advantage of those, because they've been a lot of teams have been taking advantage of the corners jumping down and then throwing the ball behind them. So that's one thing that we got to make sure that we're doing as well.
As you head into this backstretch of the season, teams have 7 games of film on you now. What do you do to maybe still throw in those surprises and maybe sneak away with some points, a surprise touchdown here and there over these final few weeks?
Well, you got to watch the film and see what they're giving up and attack and take what they're giving you. So we always, the offensive staff and the defensive staff, honestly, is always trying to create ways to attack the other team's offense or defense from something they may not have seen or something we may not have shown in a couple of weeks that they may not have gone back and watched. I know we got all 7 games, but typically most schools go back and watch 4 games, and by that time you have a pattern of what they do. So you have to disguise things and change the formation, especially offensively, and kind of run the same plays, because you don't want to overload your kids. So that's what really offense is about: multiple formations, same plays, and getting the defense out of position.
Well, Coach, best of luck and enjoy the road trip.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
I think my images truly portray dynamic women, like being bold, being fearless. Growing up, I did not see what I wanted to be. There was just a lack of Black women, business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. That's how I just started taking pictures. And from there, I figured out that I wanted to be a photographer for women of color. It takes a village to be a Black woman, to live and survive as a Black woman. It takes support. I found my niche and I'm sticking to it.
Each year, the South Carolina Education Lottery raises millions of dollars for scholarships and grants that help students prepare for their dream career, just like Kristen.
We're back here on Allen Athletics with head men's basketball coach Sean Walker. Coach, one exhibition in the books for your team. You took the road trip up to Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, and took on Division I foe Campbell. Not the result you might have been looking for in terms of the win column, but how do you feel like the team got better?
Well, the expectation was for us to try to figure out what we can do well, opposed to winning. And I think overall the outcome was good. Remember, we took this game in 5 or 6 days. We really were not prepared that early for a scrimmage or an opponent of that magnitude. And so we did a lot of good things. I would expect us to be a very good defensive team. I think I told you last week that Campbell was a handful to handle and to deal with. Offensively, I thought we guarded them well. We guarded them extremely well. We've got to take care of the ball better, which we kind of knew that. We had some difficulties with the trap, but we really weren't prepared for that the way we would be in a real game. So we're excited about what we were able to see, and the best piece to the puzzle is that we got to watch us on film against another opponent and really figure out where we need to move forward as we get closer to November 8th.
How important was that to actually see your team against someone other than their own teammates who knows the plays they're running, knows exactly the calls you're making, and really seeing what your team looks like in a game environment?
Well, it's really big. It's really good for us. Also to play against the physicality of that level. We didn't execute offensively the way that we need to, that we will need to. We were able to see that we really don't know what to do the way that we should. And so it's important for not only our coaching staff to see that, but it's important for our players to see that we have ways to go, we have some ways to grow. Things are not as easy as they are as we seemingly see them in practice. and we just got a lot out of it. We're gonna be better off for it moving forward.
Ways to grow as we draw closer to, like you said, opening day, opening tip-off coming up on November the 8th. As we head into these next 2 weeks of practice for your group, what are some of those things that you're wanting to work on ahead of Tampa?
Well, fundamentally, we were not very good against Campbell. We made far too many passes that we threw the ball airborne, threw it over the top. We failed the ball fake. We've got to shore up really our passing. Obviously, we've got to shore up our spacing and having an idea of knowing where we're supposed to be on the offensive side so that the right hand knows what the left hand is doing. And then we're watching the ball too much, trying to figure out how I can get it, opposed to allowing the ball to move so we can be at our best. So those things are easily correctable, knowing exactly what we need to do, how we need to do them. Obviously, mistakes are a part of the game, but if we can show up being more fundamentally sound, then it's going to be a really cause and effect of us being a good team as we shore up those things moving forward.
Last week you shared with us the message you were going to share to the team ahead of Campbell, that don't pay too much attention to the starting lineup. There's nothing set in stone. It's just this game. There's still plenty to go. Do you feel like you figured out more about your rotation?
Well, I tell you what, we had some meaningful contributions from a couple of guys that I didn't expect to play as well. I mean, Ethan Hill came off the bench. We didn't really know if he was going to play, dealing with some academic issues transcript that we needed to get in, and he got it in, and he was able to play. He finished the game with 4 points, 13 rebounds. That was major. We very well could stick him in the starting lineup right now. Our point guard play, Mark Ray was pretty doggone good. We had an injury with the guy. So we got a real idea of what the season actually looks like at this point. We have a video of what needs to happen. So in the next 2 weeks, those persons who did start know what they need to do. Those persons who are trying to get in the rotation know what they need to do. We were able to get everybody a little bit of time in the game. From the standpoint of the experience for our young people, A+. From the standpoint of us having the idea of what we need to do to grow to be a solid team, A++. The Campbell trip was a definite advantage for our program.
I know one thing you've said before is you want to make sure you never overdo it as a coach. And in these next 2 weeks, like you said, you have game film, you've got some rotation questions to maybe think about. So you saw some different things, different flashes from different guys. How do you in your life balance out all of these things when you're Platter, not overthink it, in your words, ahead of Tampa?
Well, I think the first thing is what I tell our players. I believe you got to believe what you see. All right, what I see in front of me is exactly what it is. So as we're watching players on tape, that's a self-analysis. That's a coaching analysis. Are the players in the right position to make the play? Are we putting individuals into place that they can be successful? And then that helps us to cultivate what we need to do as a team. So the first level of evaluation needs to come from what we're telling our players to do. I tell my coaching friends all the time, and I tell my staff all the time, in public education we learn that if you teach and teach and teach and teach and your players or your students don't get it, you didn't teach. All right, so at the end of the day, I'm the leader. It falls on the expectation falls on me. Now we're able to not only watch the tape, but it's not a crash to players moment. It is a crash to coaches moment. Now let's go in and retool and refine and figure out how we can put these young people in the best possible position to be successful.
Not only did you get to see your team play so far, but you also got to see your development team here at Allen University play their first game of the season. And this was a group you organized when you got here last spring, and it was something Allen hadn't had before, but you organized a developmental team, roughly 15 to 20 guys that play Allen basketball and then play in that Yellow Jackets jersey. You got to see them play their first game. First off, tell us what went into your decision to organize that group, and how does it benefit your varsity program?
Well, I tell you, first and foremost, as an overall campus initiative, that's 20 students that showed up here, that participating in a sport, that don't get scholarship money, that just came to Allen, that wanted to be a part of the athletic program. that's major for our students. As I say to our administration, that's 420 kids, it's $460,000 that Allen University was able to come in and get that they may not have gotten before. It certainly helps us with our staff, and then it helps us get young coaches an opportunity to coach and young people an opportunity to compete. That program is very unique to our varsity team, and I'll be the first one to tell you, there are probably a couple of guys on that team that should not be on that team. They should probably be on our varsity team or a varsity team someplace. There are many guys, at least 6 of those guys that are college basketball players that transfer here. So that JV team, we call it developmental program, is going to be a very good developmental program. There's size over there, there's quickness over there, there's guys that can really shoot the ball over there, and then there's guys that just want an opportunity to play. And so that program is for everybody that wants to be a part of it, provided that you can carry out this philosophy that we have about how to conduct yourself, this move the cheese philosophy, so to speak. And so I'm excited about that group, and we've got one guy right now that's in practice already that I may take a look at moving up, and there's probably at least another one that I need to look at as well. So that program is going to be super beneficial to us.
Well, Coach, we're 2 weeks out from the regular season tip-off. Next time we talk to you, we'll be 2 days away. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back.
At Founders Federal Credit Union, we know success is a team effort. We're always cheering for you, side by side, so you can dream big and achieve your goals. Offering products and services that put you in the lead, whether that's helping you buy a car, build your savings, or supporting your community. We're here with the financial support you need. That's teamwork. Score big with Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders.
And we're moving over to the wrestling mat on this week's episode as we're joined by head men's and women's wrestling coach Eric Pack. Coach, thanks for taking the time.
No problem.
Wrestling season is here. The inter squad coming up here in just a few days. How's the off season been?
Pretty good. We've been working hard. Finally, we competing in the room real good. Just getting ready for us to start the season off.
Well, I know one of those key things for you was adding to your women's roster last year, the inaugural year of the team. So with that came maybe a smaller roster size, but this year there's plenty of new faces on the women's side.
Yeah, and the main thing growing from that, we're trying to build our competition in the room. You know, some of our girls were all Americans. They need that counterpart in the room to make them get better. We got some great additions that we've added to the room to push our All-Americans and to grow our program just in general.
And I know you feel like some of those new additions can hopefully have All-American aspirations as well at the end of the season. But the two that did reach that mountaintop last year would be Jillian Lackley and Kat Timus. What do those two do heading into now their sophomore seasons to take that next step?
They just bring that leadership role. Now they know what it's like to wrestle on the national stage, even though we're changing, going fully Division II right now. But just that having that presence in the room is definitely shown when they have practices and they're getting after the other girls and the freshmen and bringing them along.
It's not too bad in your first year as a program when you have a wrestler finish second in the nation and fourth in the nation, but this guy did it. Not to brag too much on you there, Coach, but then over onto the men's side, you guys are making that jump into Conference Carolinas at the Division II level, which I know you can attest because you've been around this league for a few years now, a highly competitive conference.
It is. In our first match, we start off, we wrestle with the number probably 1 or 2 ranked team in the nation, Lander at home. And our guys been really gearing up for it. So we have a little competition before that. We'll do our inner squad to kind of get the feeling of wrestling at home. And then also we'll go to UNC Pembroke to give us that kind of tune-up matches before we jump right into that dual meet.
Well, Coach, you mentioned there the inner squad right around the corner. It's going on this Sunday, October the 27th. It will get started at 4 o'clock with the women. The men will follow later in the day. As you put together this inner squad, you're the one who's matching student athletes up with other competitors. What goes into that process?
Oh, man. First off, it's days of practice, watching them wrestle and seeing the competition eternal. But also you want to make it so that they are really, competing at a high level. And they get very competitive with it. Yesterday we had our announcement, which we do every year, and you can see it already start, that competitive side from each one of them. Just sitting down and just matching up what's best to go against one another. But I see that daily in the room while they're wrestling.
Well, Coach, obviously this is an individual sport, but also there is a team aspect to it, certainly with so many dual meets on your schedule. For you as a coach, looking at the team as a whole this year, you want some All-Americans, you want some national qualifiers, you want some national champions.
Yes.
What do you want to see from them as a team?
Well, just finally competing in Division II. Last year we kind of got a taste of it, but this year we're actually full-fledged Division II. Obviously the competition is going to be a whole lot harder, but we've set some goals as a team. We want to finish high in the conference and just be competitive with every match that we have.
You also bring in some new faces to your assistant staff this year. Who are those new faces?
Well, I bring in some veteran knowledge. I bring Hall of Famer Quincy Riley. I bring in Vinny Salick and Chase Macklin.
And I know these are all gentlemen who either coached you or you coached. How important is it to essentially keep it in the family?
That's huge because it's almost the same kind of mindset and thought process, but they also bring a lot to the table. They help me grow as a head coach, and they also bring the element, some things that I be missing as a head coach, and also helping the kids. Wrestling's one of those sports that you don't know everything, and when you bring people in, you want them to help grow you as a coach and as the culture and as the program here too.
Well, I know a unique part of wrestling is what is that run-out song going to be this year? And you told me In the Air Tonight, maybe one of those picks. How did you decide on Phil Collins?
Well, the kids kind of thought about it. We kind of want to have a theme, something that they can leave behind as they leave, and it'd be something we keep traditionally. Like some of the teams, some of your local teams and some of the other universities have something like that. But the kids just picked it. They thought it was a good theme, and just the wording and the process of it, kind of getting the atmosphere going as we have home events. And
that fits your era too. It's not a today's hit. It's one of those classics.
Oh, yeah. And I was kind of shocked when they picked it. I thought as they went through the songs, I was kind of shocked when they picked it, but they were actually kind of amped up and pumped about it, guys and the girls.
Well, Coach, we're excited to hear it with the Inter Squad coming up on Sunday. Thanks so much for the time, and best of luck this year.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
Right here, there's a better way to travel, where we're proud to be local, but we're more than just your local airport. Here, you can go from garage to gate in minutes, instead of traveling to travel.
Who wants to drive an hour up 77 anyway?
With quick find parking and multi-airline kiosks, we're designed to save you time. So for your next trip, check CAE first. The Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Fly local, fly with neighbors, fly with ease.
There's a hidden gem in downtown Columbia, South Carolina. Are you ready to witness the epitome of grit and passion? Well, welcome to Allen University Athletics. From dazzling plays on the basketball court to the electrifying crowd, we've got tradition and we've got pageantry. Fueled by determination and unwavering spirit, coaches will push everyone's limits, game after game. At Allen University, we believe in the power of unity, teamwork, and resilience. Together, we rise. Be a part of the legacy and experience the thrill of Allen University Athletics. For more information, visit our athletics website at auyellowjackets.com.
And that closes things out for us this week on Allen Athletics. We appreciate you joining us each and every Sunday at 10 a.m. here on Watch Fox 57. You can also catch up on previous episodes on demand on YouTube. Just search Allen University Athletics and you can catch up on what you may have missed. Also, you can head online to auyellowjackets.com. That's your official online home for Allen University Athletics. There you'll find scores, schedules, rosters, recaps, and so much more that you need, including game tickets to purchase. That's available online at auyellowjackets.com. For our entire crew, I'm Kay Crenshaw saying so long. We'll see you next time. And as always, remember to smile.